Hello and welcome back to the Sleeping Dragons podcast. I'm here with Tucker.
Hello.
Hello. All right. We're existing today. We're gonna review a game that we really, really like, that we've talked a lot about, and we've played recently. Of course, it's Split Fiction.
Of course.
Of course.
How could we not talk about it?
Yeah. Notice how I didn't butcher that intro like Tucker did last week. Anyways.
Unimportant. Wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad. It could have been worse. It could have been worse.
Oh yeah, it could have been so bad that we would have redone it.
Yes, it wasn't that bad. It was bad enough that it wasn't. Oh my goodness.
As bad as that.
As bad as that. No, okay. It wasn't bad enough that it had to be cut out, but it was still pretty bad, like what I just did.
Yep.
God damn it. Anyways, do you want to move into what we're doing, how we're living, and how we're existing?
I can start. I've been working a lot on Detroit Become Human. Still 100%ing it. I should be able to finish it within like 2 hours, I think. But other than that, I've started Wolfenstein New Order. I've wanted to play a Wolfenstein game for a while. I just never did. But it's pretty fun so far. That's pretty much it other than Darkest Dungeon. Darkest Dungeon 2 has gotten an update, a big update for console. So I've been playing a lot of that too. But that's pretty much it.
Well, I've been getting back into Foxhole. Foxhole, of course. Foxhole is peak. We all love it. Not everyone. I love it. Been doing a lot of tanking, actually. I've been running around with Silverhands, which are like World War II-ish tanks. I don't know what they're based off of, but they have a whole gun, a 68 mil, and then they have a top 40 mil gun. So, gotta love them. They run well. I love how they work. I love running them with people. They're fun. Oh, yeah. I don't have any super fun experiences to share with them because it's just how normal tanking goes. You know, you tank on the front line, shoot shit, destroy shit, and then die. That's how it always is.
Yeah.
But they are cutting this war short, like we thought, but that's just because they thought it was going on longer than they thought it would. Like,
what do you mean by
longer.
cutting it short?
So by cutting it short, so basically they have an update schedule, and because of the length of this war, it's been taking too long of like time, so it's cutting back their update schedule, and we don't want that to happen because that means we'll get the airborne update later.
Oh, I see.
So they're gonna cut the war. Not cut it. So what they do is when they're cutting a war short is they'll slowly rip out victory points. So like I said, imagine you're playing. Actually, I don't have a good example of this, but like, okay, basically, so you take towns, right, to get the victory points. So a certain amount of victory points and you win. 32 victory points and your team wins. But right now we're at a stalemate where it's like 20-20 victory points on each side. We've been fighting for so long and it doesn't seem like anybody's getting any progress anywhere. So what they're going to do is they're going to slowly start ripping away victory points one by one.
Okay. Are you just ripping it from like the total you need to win?
Total you need to win, yes.
Okay.
So it'll go down from 32 to 31 to 30 to 29 and so on.
I get you.
Until the war ends.
It's interesting.
But, I don't know if that's what they're doing. They might have another plan because they said their announcement for what they're doing is tomorrow, but everyone thinks they're probably just going to do victory point stripping or whatever you want to call it. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Do you also want to talk about what we were just doing 30 minutes ago?
I guess. Okay, so we're playing our next co-op game that we've been wanting to play, which is the Dark Pictures Anthology series. There is 4 games in it. Just so you know, they're from the creators that made Until Dawn, a very popular game, along with Quarry, a very popular game. Their whole gimmick, like Hazelight Studios, who made Split Fiction, like we're talking about today, and It Takes Two and A Way Out, their whole gimmick is co-op games and a bunch of cool co-op mechanics with that. Hazelight's gimmick is, or not Hazelight. What the fuck is the studio's name? I don't remember. But anyways, yeah, I'll have to look that up here in a second. But the Dark Pictures series, so their whole thing is obviously co-op, but it's more like a, or even most of their games, it's like a
cutscene.
Cutscene.
Like
Think about it like a movie co-op watching a cutscene. So you make dialogue decisions, and you have a bunch of QTEs, quick time events. So, I mean, if you guys listen to this podcast, you guaranteed know what a QTE is, but I'll explain. Basically, a quick little button prompt will pop up on your screen, and you have to quickly press it or something happens. Typically, it's nothing bad, or just show something funny. But
in these games, it's a lot of the time something bad if you miss it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it here in a second, but I guess we can go over a quick little segment about it,
Yeah.
Talk about it. I think we can do like a whole review about all 4 of the games once we're done with them.
Yeah, they're pretty short games. Like our run was like somewhere around 3 hours. So
4. That was like 4 or 5-ish.
Yeah. It wasn't over 4. That's for sure. But they're pretty short games. I think we can just talk about all of them in one episode.
But we'll give a little bit of a rundown. So, I guess we don't have to go over the whole story because we don't really have super a lot of time for it, of course. But basically, it's about this World War II frigate that your characters land on. Basically, after this this whole scene happens, you're on the boat, you're diving underwater, and then you find a weird little map that leads to somewhere, you're like, ooh, what's this? It's talking about some Manchurian gold. I like gold. And so, the guy and the pirates, get on your boat or whatever. There's like 3 of them, bums. Anyways, you go through this whole on scene, and then eventually, while you guys are like trying to escape some storm or something, you end up on the giant frigate. And for some reason, they climb onto the frigate.
They took the engine piece. The bad guys took the engine piece they need to leave with the boat, so they had to go get it.
Yeah, but the bad guys forced them onto it anyways, which is confusing enough to me, because the boat wasn't sinking. The small one. Yeah. It was filling with water, but they could have just pumped it out.
I don't know. It wasn't even filling with water. There was just a small bit of water that got in there.
But anyways,
I'll
let you keep.
So pretty much a lot of bad shit happens. The characters are going through this big old ship, trying to get away from the bad guys, but also trying to get that piece they need back. There's a lot of sections where your characters get split up. And so it's like each person is getting a different experience, which is kind of fun. But one thing that's really cool is the so-called Manchurian gold has this effect of giving people really bad hallucinations. So there's this really cool horror stuff that happens with these hallucinations, and it's just overall really cool.
Yeah, I love the whole thing. So throughout the games, typically games from this studio, you play through them, and then you get a set of characters that you play as. Typically, I thought they were like a specific person controlled those specific characters.
I know that was in the Quarry. The Quarry worked like that, but
the Quarry fucking sucks.
It doesn't suck, but it's just not
okay.
amazing.
It doesn't suck. The multiplayer sucks.
Multiplayer kind of sucks. Yeah, solo it's not too bad.
Yeah. Okay. Supermassive Games is the studio.
Okay.
That made it. So, anyways, you play with a set of characters, and they can die.
Yes.
They can and will. So, as we're talking about the hallucinations, do you want to go into it? Explain what happened?
I don't know how deep we want to go into it. How deep are you thinking?
I just think we could just go real quick that, what's his name? We won't say it. We'll just say somebody was running away from.
Oh yeah, there was. So I'll just kind of explain the scene. So from my perspective, I'm playing as a character. We won't say the name of the character to avoid spoilers. Um, but this character is running away from this monster thing. It looks like an old hag. Um, and so you're running away, doing a bunch of QTEs to not trip and die. Um, whereas the other person's perspective is them chasing one of their, fellow friends, trying to get them to stop freaking out. And it ends up in this really cool experience, especially when you're talking to the person who you're playing with, because it's this whole cool thing with you chasing each other essentially, but you don't know. You do, but you don't know it's them. It's really cool and confusing.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. The studio also made the casting of
Frankstone. I didn't know they made it. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know they made casting Frankstone. I 100%ed that game. I like that game. It's not like amazing quality, but it's not bad.
Now, the studio's done a lot, but I don't know. They might be going down the shitter because in January 2024, co-founders left the company and they laid off 90 of their 150 employees. So.
Oh. Yeah. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
But
we love talking about studios here, game studios. I love learning about them. Actually, it's cool.
I learn a lot because I don't normally look them up or like anything about them. So it's kind of nice to be learning about some of these.
Like a lot of games I like, I just don't know the studios that make them.
Yeah.
But as I'm learning more about the studios, that makes me excited to know.
It's interesting. Yeah. And we'll be talking about a studio today that we really like.
We've talked about them before, of course, millions of times. Yes.
Do we want to talk about the studio before we get into the game?
Yeah, sure. We go ahead and talk about Hazelight. So Hazelight Studio, I know we've talked about them before, but they've made the typically co-op games. Their very first game they made a while ago was called A Tale of Two Brothers. That one was kind of a co-op, but kind of not. You only have one controller, but you have to like control it with like the left and right stick and like the triggers at the same time. Like, so you have to like go through these scenes where you're controlling both characters at the same time. It's really cool. I like how it works.
Yeah.
And they also made, I think the game they made after that was A Way Out. Then they made It Takes Two, and then this year, they dropped,
Split Fiction.
Split Fiction. Peaks.
Indeed. So A Way Out, It Takes Two, and Split Fiction have kind of the same, I guess, gameplay kind of style. They're very unique in the fact that they play as split screen, even though you're not doing a couch co-op. So like we're in complete other states and we're still playing in split screen, and I find that really cool because you don't see that anywhere, and it's awesome. Honestly, it's really cool to see. It's weird how you get so used to it, because like even today, I went into Man of Medan, and I was like, it was in the first scene. I was like, wait a minute, I don't know what he's doing. What is Dylan doing? I don't know. It was very confusing to go back to that because we'd gotten so used to it. But it's a really unique thing that they do. I believe as they go, they get longer. Because A Way Out's not insanely long playtime. But I know It Takes Two is a bit longer, and I think Split Fiction was a little longer than It Takes Two.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that like 100%, but I'm pretty sure. They're at least pretty similar. It Takes Two you've probably seen from just random stuff about couples struggling to play the game, because typically one person has played a lot of games and the other one doesn't play a lot of games. it's typically catered towards couples because It Takes Two is kind of a love story. However, that doesn't stop us from playing the game. It is a very fun game, and we'll have to probably do its own review on it. But Split Fiction, however, is not a love story. It's essentially two writers that get trapped in the same mind in a way. That's like the most basic I can say it.
Wait.
What?
Wait.
What?
What the fuck?
What did you find?
Okay, there's this movie, right? 2010 Swedish comedy film, right?
Okay.
Called Balls. Hazelight was a part of the creative process of it.
Oh,
What? What?
I'm confused.
Yes, search it up.
I don't
Swedish
even know
Swedish
what I'm
movie
looking
Balls.
I don't want to look that up.
Actually, don't look that up. Don't look that up. Don't look it up. Don't look up Swedish
How did
movie
you
Balls.
find this? Wait, I can't find.
I found it. I found it. Do you want me to? Here, I'll give you a link for it.
Okay.
I'll put it in this campfire. Look at that.
What is this movie? Okay.
But Hazelight was part of the process for it.
Weird. Are you 100% it's the same studio? Like,
Yes, if you click on Hazelight, like if you go to Hazelight and you go to the wiki for it, Hazelight Studios wiki. Here, let me find it. Yep, Wikipedia. You go down, and you see Joseph. Oh. Okay, Joseph Fares, the creator. Oh, okay, he's the director of Hazelight, I think.
Creative director of the studio, yeah.
So he's the Jesus. 1 second.
Go on.
He's the director of Balls.
Okay. Interesting. That's interesting.
He also made a movie called Jala Jala.
Hmm.
What the fuck?
Weird. I never would have known that. So it's not directly set to Hazelight, but to that guy.
To that guy, who's also a part of Hazelight.
Yeah.
So, God, what the fuck?
That's weird, though.
That is so fucking weird. I love that, though.
Oh, I forgot to mention. It Takes Two, I think, got Game of the Year, did it?
I don't know if it got Game of the Year.
No, it won a ton of awards during Game of the Year, at least. Did it? Hold on. I gotta... So bad at typing while talking.
Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, right? Won the award for Best Xbox Game of 2013. Their other game. This studio's just on a fucking roll.
Yeah, okay.
That was
It
the
Takes
first
Two
game that...
won Game of the Year, 2021.
Wow.
Interesting. I didn't... Okay.
Very
good
Brothers
game.
A Tale. I want to replay that game so I can review it. So I might actually do that.
I have never played it, so I do want to play it, though.
I think I will, because I want to do it for one of my reviews. All right. So, anyways...
Anywho.
We can go ahead and get into Split Fiction 20 minutes into the episode.
Yeah. So this is the start of Split Fiction. Basically, these two writers, Mio and Zoe, enter this big building. It's like corporation building. And they were promised the idea of being published as writers. And so essentially they meet the director dude. I forgot his name. But they meet the big guy, and then they're taken into this room with a bunch of other people. And told to get into these like suits and then stand on these pedestals. with a big machine in the middle. So this machine essentially forms a little bubble around everyone, and they kind of enter their mind and just kind of hang out in their creative space. However, Mio freaks out while this is happening and falls into Zoe's bubble, and it merges their mind, I guess. So they're both in
It
this
makes
creative mind.
split fiction.
Yes. See, it all comes together in the end. But I believe I don't remember what the first level of it was. Was it sci-fi? Or was it?
First level was sci-fi, then fantasy, and then we got dragged directly into sci-fi again for the first launch chapter.
Okay. Yeah, so the chapters switch between fantasy and sci-fi. Zoe is a fantasy writer, whereas Mio is a sci-fi writer. So it's about stories they wrote in their past, essentially. So they go into these journeys.
So the very start of the game is them, she gets in there, and then Zoe is like, "What the hell are you doing in here? Come on, what are you doing? Get out of here!" And then they quickly fall through a glitch and get sent into Mio's like space warfare hell with bombs going off everywhere.
Yeah,
which is cool. And then after a little bit of that, like maybe like 20-minute scenario, they get dropped into a fantasy one that's also like 20 minutes.
Well, they find a glitch that takes them.
Find a glitch. Yeah. And then after that, they find the third glitch. They get brought into their first big segment, which is the first sci-fi one.
Yeah. And so these also, throughout these, you find these side stories. And so in these side stories, you pretty much just do this little, like, somewhere between like 10, maybe 20 minutes, depending on how long it takes you. Little segments of just
always
side stories.
So cool.
They are. Oh, they're so cool.
So I have a question. Do we want to go over? Why don't we do this? Do we want to go over all the chapters, what happens in the end of the game, and then afterwards we can quickly go over all of the side stories? Because I have them pulled up.
I think that works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's run through the main chapters, and then we'll do that.
So I'll say the first little bit that pops up, like the first 20-minute segments. The first one is like a little bit of sci-fi. Like I said, you're brought into this war, and you're dealing with all this, spaceship stuff, and it's pretty neat. Next segment is, I'll let you go. Why don't we go over it like we played the game? I did. My character was sci-fi, and yours was fantasy. So.
That was the orc one, was it?
Yeah, I think that was the orc one.
Okay. Yeah, so the fantasy one, you go through this, like, town, and there's a bunch of orcs chasing you, so it's a long, like, running segment. That's pretty much most of it, was just running away from the orcs.
Yeah, it's pretty much that whole one.
Do you have a list? I don't have a list.
I know what they are.
I
remember them all.
Okay, I don't remember in order which ones were which.
I know.
So I can find something as you explain the next one.
Yeah, so the first, actually, I don't know the second one, so let me find something quick, too. I
guess I can say while we're doing this. So throughout these chapters, they typically each character has a different ability in the chapters. And so those abilities you have to use and work together to get through the levels. So you can't just sprint through as one character. You actually have to have both characters. Which makes that very unique sense. And it's fun. It's very fun as a co-op because it's just working together the whole time.
Yeah. So for the first one, the first level, or the first scenario is called Neon Revenge, which is super cool. It's this whole story where you figure out that it's just Mio trying to vent her anger out on society, basically. So you're these badass cyber ninjas that go through defeating basically the IRS of this world. Oh, can't forget about the unpaid parking tickets.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't have a whole lot to say about this one. Super cool. Cyber Ninjas. I love all the scenes. There's some car chase scenes. There's the hacking on the bike where you have to do the gotchas on the phone.
Those are so funny. I was not expecting that. I could not get over that.
It's fucking great, dude. And then they did the Akira slide. I love Akira slides.
They have so many references in these games. It's amazing.
I fucking love it, dude. Also, we have what happened? I know the parking garage, big ass fight there with the parking attendant. That fight was fun. I liked that.
Yeah.
That one was entertaining. Oh, Mr. Hammer, the Hammer dude.
Oh yeah.
Hammer boss. I completely forgot about him. That was another boss, and then there was the big final boss, which was probably one of my favorite boss fights. That one actually might be my favorite final boss fight, final scenario boss fight, except for the final boss, of course.
Yeah, it was a cool one.
I think that one was super cool. So final boss fight's fun. Basically, you fight this lady with this Giga tank, and it's cool. It's cool as hell.
Oh yeah,
everybody loves it.
And then, so the next one, the fantasy one, if I'm correct, that's the one where you have the shape-shifting stuff?
Yes.
Okay. So basically both characters can shapeshift between two different things. So like my character, Zoe, she could shapeshift into a big tree dude and a fairy. And then obviously her normal form. Whereas you had a weird otter thing.
Yeah, it's the cute little otter dog.
Then a gorilla.
Big
and
gorilla.
It was interesting. So each of them have their different abilities. They're not super crazy. Like the otter thing can swim. The monkey can climb around on stuff. The tree can connect with stuff and make like trees grow around it. And then the fairy can just kind of glide, essentially. And is also small, so they can go into small places. But that one there's a lot of cool places with that. A lot of it's pretty similar, I'd say. It's just a bunch of puzzles of using your powers.
That's what a lot of the game is, I feel like. But it's not bad. It's not bad, you know. A lot of the puzzles are super easy. And I saw that was one of the a lot of the complaints in the people saying stuff about the game, but
yeah, I don't really get that. Cuz it's so this game is made with the incentive that people that don't normally play games are going to play it. So it's a little easier than other games you'd expect, but honestly, I don't think that takes away from the game. It's still a lot of fun. I think it would not be as fun if it was a lot harder. I think it'd just be kind of annoying.
Still a solid and phenomenal game.
Yeah. I don't remember a lot of the boss fights in this one. Not saying they're bad, it's been a minute.
Monkey! Dancing monkey!
Oh, was the dancing monkey in that one? I thought he was in
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Dancing monkey's in that one.
You get the dancing monkey dude. That dude's fucking fun.
Dude, I love his fight.
That one has a ton of fun fights. And then obviously the best one, the last one, which I think is one of my favorite ones, is the Ice King.
Ice King the evil, so despicable, evil Ice King.
Yeah, you get up, so you go through the whole chapter, and then you get up to this big castle thing, and essentially you see a cat. It's just a little cat, and so I think Mio just starts petting it. And the cat starts talking, and it's like it sounds like a Starion from Baldur's Gate.
Yeah. You fools!
How dare you stop petting me? It's so funny. Oh man! And then it turns into a big kitty, and then it starts trying to kill you. But I think the incentive was. This one was talking about Zoe's childhood with her sister. About how they used to pretend they could shapeshift, essentially.
Which is cool.
Yeah, be someone they're not. All these kind of have tie-ins to their real life stuff, which is really cool. So the Ice King, I believe, was the neighbor's cat that they didn't like.
Yes, she really hated.
Yeah. But yeah, all of it's really cool. So that's the end of that one.
So next one brings us to Final Dawn.
Mhm.
Your one was called Hopes of Springs, by the way. Hopes of Spring. This one is called Final Dawn, which I fucking love this one. You start in a battleship that is just screaming Halo, and then you just have this badass drop down scene where you're falling and just kicking ass.
Oh, this is the one where we had the like dual wield guns, right?
Yeah, the dual guns, yeah.
Nice. That one was fun.
Oh, had one of my favorite bosses in it. I'm trying to remember.
Which one was it?
First off, there's the ping pong, or whatever it was. Not ping pong.
I have no clue.
You know things where you smack, like where you go up to them in an arcade and you smack the sides of them?
That was later.
That was a later one?
That was
oh my
Zoe's
God,
final
right.
one. Yeah. I can't think of
was
what
that
those are
Zoe's
called.
final one?
Yeah.
That was Zoe's final one.
Yeah.
What the fuck are the bosses in this one? I know there was...
It's hard to remember them. Let's see. So we get out of the dropship, we get our guns. The puzzles in this one were like each of us were a different color, so our guns only worked on certain targets that did certain things.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of doing that. But there was the Overseer? Was that one of them?
I think so, yes. The Overseer is one of them.
I think this one only had one. Or no, not one. I think it only had two bosses. But I remember the Overseer, and then there was another one. I don't remember at the moment.
Excuse me.
I can look up all the bosses, actually.
Yeah, I am looking them up.
Yeah, there's the one. I think they just had one for this chapter. I think it was just the Factory Warden for like bigger bosses.
Yeah.
That one had a bunch of legs. So it was like a giant robot with a bunch of legs. And we each had to shoot the plating off depending on whichever color it was, and then we had to shoot the other one as the other color. That one takes a little bit.
Oh, Factory Warden was the moving robot. Oh, yeah. So I'm just looking at all the bosses. Yeah, the parking attendant. Nah, that was not the one. Overseer did exist. It's the turtle-like robot that follows you around that you have to fight like a Terraria boss.
That one was the last one, right?
No.
No? I thought it was. Oh. I don't remember. That one was a lot of the chapter, though. Because you have to, break it down into a bunch of different pieces. And then it has a cool Terminator ending.
Yeah, that one I fucking loved. Oh my God, my other favorite boss.
Yeah.
The crab.
The crab. Oh, yeah, that was cool. That one we can save for the
side story.
Side stories, though.
Yeah, all right. That's about it for mine. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. That's what it is, what it is.
Next one I think is my favorite chapter, which is the Rise of the Dragon Realm. So that one's a lot of fun because each of us get like it starts out with each of us getting like a dragon egg, and so the story of it is there's the last two dragons on Earth. And so you go through it, and eventually you get to a spot where the eggs hatch, and so Mio has a red dragon, and they can fly, and later on they can spit acid, and Zoe has a blue dragon who likes to bonk stuff.
Roly-poly.
Yeah. So his bigger form, as his like main like ability, I guess, is he like curls up into a ball and just rolls around. It's hilarious. But yeah, so you do a bunch of stuff with the like smaller forms of the dragon, and then they grow up more, and then more, and then more until they're full size. And once they're full size, there's a big dragon. And then you fight the big dragon. I don't remember if there was another boss in between there.
The turtle.
Oh,
the fucking turtle.
The turtle. The turtle was tough.
He kept running away like a bitch.
The turtle was interesting because I think you had to like spit the acid.
Dragon Slayer.
Oh, was there one more? I don't remember.
Dragon Slayer was the first one, the giant floating skeleton.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I forgot about that one.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, the turtle was. I'd say the turtle was more of a mini boss because he wasn't. He wasn't hard, but we kept failing on him. It just took us a while to beat him. But yeah, then you fight the Dragon Slayer, which again you just gotta combo your two abilities, which are the spitting and the bonking.
Dragon Slayer was first. Turtle was second.
Oh, was he? Oh, yeah, okay. And then after that, after the turtle dude, you fight the big one, the big dragon.
Big dragon.
And I believe most of the mission was like you are on the dragon and your dragons come out and help every now and then to let you progress.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. And that's the end of that one.
Next one, you move on to level 6, Isolation. Keep in mind, we're quickly going over these.
They're very
each
long.
of these chapters is like 2-3 hours of gameplay.
And this one is Mio's final chapter.
Mio's final into her subconscious, and it's called Isolation.
Mm-hmm.
You're in this prison ship. There's a lot of bosses. There's the pinfall boss. My favorite part was this part where you get into this turret, like in your ball form.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
and then I could mow down Tucker.
Yeah, so most of this one you play as just this little ball rolling around. Each of us plays that and going through this place trying to unlock a giant door, essentially. So we go through a pinball area, and then afterwards we're trying to roll around and get past everything without getting spotted. And Dylan has a gun and keeps shooting me. It's just really annoying.
It's fucking hilarious. I love that so much.
Yeah.
And after all that, you get to the prisoner. And the prisoner is one of the coolest bosses. It's just Mio, but emo.
Yeah.
No, it's evil Mio. So the dark Mio just goes into a brutal fight. And it's fun.
Yeah.
I love it.
There was another boss, wasn't there? Because there's a giant robot, right? Yeah, right after the pinball part of it, I think.
Oh, right.
At the end of the mission when you're left unconscious. Yeah. Yeah, you fight another robot. That one was fun too.
EX, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that one was fun.
Right.
The abilities with that one were a lot of fun. But yeah.
Oh, yeah. Why are you hitting yourself? Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. I love that. The one after this, so that's pretty much the end of this level after you fight Dark Mio.
Yeah.
And you move on to the level called the Hollow. I'll let Tucker get into it.
Yeah, so this is Zoe's final chapter. And this one, we learned some very big lore on Zoe's part. Because throughout this, Zoe talks about her twin sister, who's like her big inspiration for her stories. Yes, huge spoiler warning. And then, so we eventually learn throughout this that her sister died. And then in this mission, we learned that Zoe was, like, really blames herself for getting her sister killed in a way. They went down to, like, a river. Zoe got her to go down to a river, and she was carried away by the river and drowned. So not inherently Zoe's fault, but she thinks it is. So it's her getting over that, essentially. And Mio's was her stuff with her father.
Yeah.
Because her father was, I think he was like really sick or something. They just didn't have money.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one, so the Hollow one, that one was interesting. Because the abilities in that one were I moved gold with these weird Cthulhu portals, and you did the light stuff.
Yep, I loved when Tucker would jump on those and kill himself, and then when I do it and try and get him to die, and then I die.
Yeah, you just made the platforms, and you keep trying to kill me with them.
I was out for you this whole game.
Not until the end. Not until like Mio's final one. That's the point where your mind switched to killing me. Because, like, all the way throughout before that, we didn't try to kill each other. I don't know. But yeah, you go through a bunch of puzzles with that, and at some point, we got the bird. Or no, it was the bird and the dragon thing that I had that gave us those abilities. I will say the boss that we fight later was a Hydra, and you needed it like swallowed a piece we needed, so we had to kill it. Little did we know, cutting the heads off was obviously not a good idea.
Yeah. Which we did.
Yep.
Of course.
Very gruesomely, I will say.
Yeah, very, very gnarly.
Yeah. But then after that, I think you go inside of the Hydra.
Yeah, we did.
And then you get the thing and you'll win.
You'll win.
Yeah. And all throughout this game, the director dude outside is really mad that we're inside these bubbles because it's breaking his machine. And so he's like going a little crazy at this point, and he's constantly trying to stop us from finding the glitches because they're breaking his machine. So after this, I'll let you move into what it is.
The final
Yeah.
final arc.
Yep.
Called Split. Where, I mean, God, it's so hard to explain how absolutely fucking cool this entire boss fight with
Really is.
with what's his face?
I think he's just called the director. He has a name, but he is the director.
No, he has a specific name. Raider.
Yeah.
Yeah, the CEO Raider. It is so cool. Because it's
yeah.
like an entire chapter just dedicated to fighting this dude. And it's so cool because it brings Split Fiction to its fucking name, and I love it.
Oh, yeah. Dude, the spot where you have to, like, it's like moving two different chapters at the same time. Oh, it's so fucking cool. I love those ones because it'd be like half of the screen is sci-fi and half of it's fantasy.
Yeah, but it's like the same type of platforms, kind of.
Mm-hmm. It's so cool. I love that.
It's so cool.
And you can move in between them. It was awesome. But yeah, this whole thing was pretty much just a really long boss fight, but it had a bunch of different stuff in it that was so cool.
It's way too much to even get into, but there's some of the cool parts. Like the TV screen one was nice. I like that one.
I like the part where you had to like avoid the death below. So it's like a top-down view, and the safe spot kept moving, but it was with different things.
Yeah,
it's so hard to explain
really
that.
confusing.
It was like between sci-fi and not sci-fi. I don't know. It's so hard to explain.
The best way to describe it is play the game yourself. Like,
yes.
The whole thing with this game is it is phenomenal. If you're not a gamer, this is a game to play.
Yes.
Honestly, this is a game to play. Find find a friend, a significant other, whatever, family member, whoever, and just play it with them. Oh. It's a good game, is what it is. You're gonna probably enjoy it. It's not gonna be hard. There's plenty of places to take breaks, pause. I think this is one of those games that is absolutely phenomenal for people who don't play games.
Yes.
To play.
Especially, I'll save that for after we finish up this chapter because I don't want to get into that yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, so afterwards you go through a bunch of these cool things where it really puts Split Fiction to the game. And you do your final showdown with him and you win. And then you get out of your bubble and shit goes down in the real world. But after that, so then that goes into your like ending. So I really like the final cutscene. So at this point, the characters have bonded. They didn't like each other at first, but they've bonded and become friends. So you go to this scene with them by a cemetery. So big spoiler, but it reveals that Mio's father has passed away, and Zoe comes up to console her. But they then switch the topic of conversation, I guess, to a book. Where they wrote a book called Split Fiction. And so they basically wrote a book about their experience with this, and it got published, and that's like the ending essentially. But besides that, one thing I really want to talk about, going off what you were talking about earlier, why this game is so good to play as like a first game too is only one person needs to own the game.
Yes.
And I love that. So It Takes Two also has this, but basically it's called the Friends Pass. So one person buys the game and the other person can play it with that person who bought the game for free, and it's awesome. I love that that's an option.
So cool.
It really is. It's so nice, especially because it's really it is a game that normally people play with like the person they're married to or like a family member, typically someone who doesn't play games. And it's a nice thing to have because it's not like, oh, they have to pay another $40. And also, this game's only $40 and not $70. It's lovely. Unless it is 70 and I'm remembering it wrong.
It is 40. It's like 40, 50. I don't remember.
Okay. It's not 70.
Not a $70 game.
Yeah, which is lovely.
Just great.
Yeah. Did you have a list of the side stories, if we want to get into that?
Yeah, I did. So we'll start into the very first one you get to, which is the legend. By the way, these side stories aren't easy to miss.
No, they're very easy to see.
Yeah. There'll be a little portal. But anyways, first one is called The Legend of the Sandfish.
Oh.
Sand sharks!
Yes.
Sand sharks!
And in that, there's a lot of Dune references in that one, I now realize. Now that I've watched the Dune movies, I notice it.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of references in that one. This one's short, sweet, love it.
Yeah, most of
love
them
the
are pretty
parkour,
short.
love the sand sharks. I love the aspects of it. The drip is cool as hell. The next one, which really makes you feel like you're on an LSD trip, farm life.
Oh, yeah.
You're pigs.
Yeah, you go into like a children's story.
Yep, you turn into two pigs. One can fart and kind of fly, and the other one is a slinky pig.
Yep. Yeah.
Lovely.
And then the funny part of it, they end up going into a meat grinder and become hot dogs. And you play as hot dogs.
That was fucking great.
It's hilarious.
The next one is called Mountain Hike, which is just you're climbing a giant mountain with the assistance of giants, which really like it looks like Norse giants too, which I'm really thinking it has to be a reference to God of War.
Dude, it's so cool. That one was really
that
cool.
That one has to be a reference to God of War when they're climbing giants. Anyways, all those three that we just talked about were all part of the first Neon Revenge.
Yeah.
So that was the first.
And so throughout these, if it's a sci-fi story, all of the side stories are fantasy. If it's a fantasy, all the side stories are sci-fi. So they switch between.
So now we're on to specifically sci-fi side stories. So first one, Train Heist, which actually has a boss in it, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you follow this train, and you get into this long scene, and then you go into this fight. I don't know. I love this one so much. This was also the jet ski one, I think.
Oh, jet ski was.
Yeah, that's super cool. I love this one. Next one, Game Show, is probably my favorite.
I really like the
close
Game
to my
Show one.
favorite.
That one was a lot of fun.
That one is so fun. So you go into it, there's this robot, the really sadistic robot, and then you'll get a bomb. If you hold the bomb in your hands too long, you'll die. If you throw it in the wrong place and someone doesn't catches it, you die. So you have to continuously throw it back and forth to each other as you take it to a little bomb chamber thing you have to throw it in.
Yeah. That one's so much fun. It's
cool.
That one's a little harder than some of the other ones. That one's a lot harder, actually.
I really do want to try that achievement where you try and do all of it first try.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
That does sound fun. We'll have to try that at some point.
We will have to try that. Next one, and also one of my favorite ones. I just love sci-fi genres in general. It's called Collapsing Star. So there's a Dyson sphere, which I love Dyson spheres, surrounding a star. But the Dyson sphere is losing control or whatever. So every once in a while, a giant pulse will come out,
Mm.
and if you're standing in it, you'll die. So you have to stand behind these windows or stand behind a solid object as you get closer and closer and closer until you can stabilize the Dyson sphere.
That one was a lot of fun. Also,
That
you
was cool.
see
I
people
love
just
that.
get vaporized at points, but
I love that. So those three are all part of Hopes of Spring, the transformation one, where
Mhm.
you're transforming. And next one is Final Dawn, which is where you're playing the Halo-like one. First one that comes up is Kites. That's the flying one where we had the race.
Oh yeah, and I messed up terribly near the end.
Yeah, and that no, like middle of it, then I let you catch up when I was so far ahead, and then I lost. So
Yeah, that one was hard. It I wasn't ready for the inverted camera, and it messed me up.
apparently it's a Spyro reference.
Oh, I could see that.
So
I
yeah,
guess I didn't get that at the time, but I can see that.
I didn't either.
Oh, the next one's my favorite one. I think. I really like the next one.
The next one,
Yeah,
Moon Market.
it's the cats one.
This, yep, they got kitty cats and like I don't know. This whole one's so cool. It's just this really cool little market where you can mess around with a bunch of little goofy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I love this one.
Also, there's a Dark Souls reference.
Yes,
You can find a
Dark Souls.
bonfire, and it's awesome.
Peak, very peak. Love this one. This one's cool. The cauldron where you can do different stuff. You can turn into a little cloud that shoots lightning.
Yeah.
That's cool. I love that. I love that entire one. And then the next one is also a really fucking cool one
That
called
one's awesome.
Notebook.
Yeah.
It's the 2D one. It's like, so you put you into a 2D war environment with pencil and paper art style.
Yeah. And you kind of go
Which-
through like person's thought process of going through a story.
Yeah.
That one
like
was a lot of
that
fun.
one.
That one
That
had
one
the
was
crab
super cool.
boss.
Yes. I love the crab boss.
Oh, that one was
Next
awesome.
one. So those three we just mentioned were part of that the Halo one.
Mhm.
So now we're on to the Halo like one. It's not Halo, obviously. This just reminds me of it. Anyways, next one is the Dragon. So we have the three more sci-fi side stories. First one we have is Slopes of War,
I like
which
that
is
one.
where you're going down on snowboard. You're snowboarding down this giant cliff face with bombs going off and all this happening. You have to do tricks and stuff, and it's super cool.
That one was a lot of fun.
Yeah. This one is a homage to the SSX series and snowboarding video games, which obviously.
Yeah.
Next one is Space Escape. That one was cool. That one was so fucking cool.
That one was interesting.
Apparently, where you're changing into the suits is a Dead Space reference.
I can see that.
So, that's cool. I love that. That one's super cool. I can't remember a whole lot about it, but I know
Yeah,
it's a bunch
you're
of
kind of just going through space, and you have to keep stopping at these spots to refill oxygen.
Yeah, that one's super cool. And then the next one is also a very. It's one that you wouldn't expect Mio to make, is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that one, you get in and you play as this little tooth thing. And so it's this like happy fun like Candyland story. I love the boss fight to that one. That one's fun.
Yeah, the fucking dentist. And it's
Yeah.
just this brutal fight where he rips you in half or fucking
man.
drills you.
Yeah, that one, as weird as it is, was I like that one. It was fun.
Super cool.
But I think that was the last one, was
That's
it?
the last one?
All right,
Yeah, that was the
awesome.
last one.
Yeah, all the side
So-
stories are super fun. I like them all.
Alright. Well, we've talked about the whole game. I think.
Move into
have you
review.
talked about everything you wanted to talk about? Yeah. Do you have anything else to talk about?
I
or-
don't think so. I think we hit everything.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. So I guess we'll move into review. Do you want to get us started?
Sure. So overall, I like this game a ton. This is easily going up there to some of my favorite games. It's my favorite co-op game, I'd say. But overall, this game does really well with the character building. I like each character pretty equally. Gameplay is super fun. It's not super hard, which I think is better in this game's fact. Um, but overall, it's just a solid game to play with someone who doesn't play a lot of games or someone who does. Like, overall, it's just an awesome game. So I think I'm going to give it a 4.6.
All right. A lot of what he said. Like, I like how it works. I think it's perfect for people who don't play games and play a lot of games too. It's perfect for that. It's a perfect co-op game. It's a fun story for anybody, no matter what you're thinking. Or it's a fun story. It's got the light-hearted and kind of dark aspects to it. I feel like it's got kind of like a like a kids show, like Amazing World of Gumball vibe to it, where there's a lot of, or not just that. I know SpongeBob has a lot of them too as well, but where it's got a lot of adult comedy. But okay, I guess I shouldn't say that because it's not as hidden as it is and stuff like that. But I feel like you can play this with a kid and they won't be super.
Yeah, I bet you could. I mean, there's swearing in it, but
there's swearing.
That's the most of it, I'd say.
So basically, that's my thoughts. If you play video games, you don't. This is a great game to start. Great game to have fun, even just with a friend. Friends Pass is amazing. So if you're someone that owns it, just play it with all your friends. Which I still have a few friends I plan on playing this with. Also, so I'm gonna give the game a 4.7.
All right.
Which pretty. That's pretty high. Do you have the math on that? I can.
Yeah. That brings it to a 9.3, which I think is valid. I know that sounds really high in our aspects, but this is a solid game.
This is a solid game. This is really close to what I believe a perfect game is. It feels nice. It's got the availability to almost everyone. It's amazing. It's on almost every platform.
Yeah.
So I love everything about it.
Yeah, it's overall amazing game.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. What was our next game?
That's that.
Our
next game, we're gonna have a shared review.
Oh yeah.
With Nate, our friend, who's played a lot of Fallout 4. So we're gonna be reviewing Fallout 4.
Yes, I don't know anything about Fallout 4. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to touch up a bit on it. I know he's been playing it a bit recently.
A little more than a bit.
Just playing it in general.
He's just playing it for fun.
Yeah, he's playing it for fun. I think. Yeah. But anyways, thanks for watching.
Yeah.
That's about it,
Yeah.
So I hope everyone has a good day, good afternoon, and whatever. And we'll see you next week on Sleeping Dragons Reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye-bye.